inspiration.
What did you think of it first screen?
I have been thinking about it since I saw it. I saw
you read it?
Yeah.
It's a wonderful novel.
Incredible novel. I've just reread it in the last 2 days, and there are things that
He lives in Toronto, so I interviewed Michael Ondaatje when he wrote it.
Right. And I bought the cinnamon peeler totally randomly.
Yes. Really?
Yeah, I didn't even, just because I sort of was reading a poem and I liked it before about the English version.
It's a wonderful film. Talk about mood and atmosphere and romance and passion.
And so expensive on the screen.
Yeah, isn't it? Saul Zaentz. There you go. Indeed. The motion picture is The People versus Larry Flynt. The actress is Courtney Love. The character is Althea Leisure Flynt. The buzz started, Courtney, the morning after the New York Film Festival screening of The People versus Larry Flynt. Will you tell us about your first meeting with Milos Forman to discuss this role?
I went to, I just went to audition. I went to audition for him, and I ended up, we spent about 3 hours together, and I ended up really liking him and not really caring if he gave it to me or not. Because I just like him. And I didn't think I made any impression or anything.
When did you start caring?
When he started telling me that he wanted me to do it, and then he started telling me he couldn't, and then he could, and then yes and no. It went on for 2 months. It's kind of torturous.
Didn't you say, then you reached the point where you realized you wanted it, you went over broken glass?
I know people keep saying that.
Did you?
I never said that like that, but it's
what did
okay.
you tell us? Here we are on television. Canadians are looking at you, saying, gee, she looks good. And you may tell us the truth. What did you say?
I said I really wanted it. But I had to go up against, other people, and also the studio and what the people at the studio wanted and stuff. I'm an unproven entity to them. So they don't, they didn't know if I would be any good or not.
For those who do not know her story, will you tell me in your words, having created her on screen, who was Althea? Who was this woman, Courtney?
Althea was about 18 when she met Larry, and she was his fourth wife. She was a stripper in one of his clubs. He had a series of clubs called the Hustler Clubs. And they had a romance. They started seeing each other. And but in about 2 months, she was sort of the boss of one of his clubs. And he sent her to a club in Toledo, I think, or Akron or something. And it was his lowest paying, yielding club. He told us the story. And within a month, that club was making twice as much as his highest paying club. She just really was a great businesswoman, but she was also very sweet. You see footage of her and read articles about her, you can sense this real sweetness and sort of fragility about her. But I think she was also very ambitious, and she sort of took what life presented to her and dealt with it skillfully. I don't know if in another life Althea would have wanted to be a pornographer or not. In the life she lived, she was. And I think something happened in Los Angeles. I don't know what. I used to see media on Althea where she was very wild looking. When I was a teenager, I remember her. She had a mohawk and she published Hustler. I thought that was crazy. But when you study her, she was so innocent and frail and sort of bird-like and sweet. I don't know. She stayed sweet until she died. She was kind of sweet, but I don't know what happened for her to get into drugs or the things that she got into. Something did, though.
I thought one of your regrets as an artist, in terms of preparing to portray this woman, having the intimacy you had with Larry Flynt, where you could actually talk about this person.
Yeah.
And what he was going through, giving you what he thought you needed as an artist to recreate someone he had loved passionately in a very complicated relationship and world. But you also said about her, she was a woman who thought before she spoke, and she could spot and weed out the parasites.
Yeah, I did say that.
Where did she get that? Where did that skill come from?
She was just really smart. I think she was very autocratic. She just really did not put up with a lot of BS around Larry. And they needed each other. I think in their relationship, codependency gets a bit of a bad rap because, yeah, it was very destructive and their weaknesses mitigated the strengths and so on. But there was a really great passion behind that, that you could sense in photographs, the way Larry speaks. I can't see her or smell her or any of that stuff, and I did not set out to imitate her. What I got from Larry was a lot of anecdotes and her sense of style, which I think is really paramount to judging what a person's reactions might be like. Maybe that sounds shallow, but like what a person wears or what they like around them or what they like to eat tells me something. So I didn't set out to recreate her per se, but I did as much as I could in the interior sort of level.
When you were doing your research and you knew there was an estranged sister that you tried to find.
Yeah, I did.
Did it?
How do you know about that? Did I?
What happened to you, Courtney? First of all, you knew there was an estranged sister. Was there no way of actually tracking her down or finding her through Larry?
Not through Larry, no. I put a couple attempts into it. I didn't go that far, though, with it. She married somebody. I think she's out here. But the sister was really estranged. They didn't really get along so much. I don't know that for a fact, actually. That's what I heard. But I kind of just, I think I had enough at a certain point. I didn't want any more information. People were grabbing me all over the place in this town. I did this with her, I did that with her, I did this with her. And I would hear stories, and who knows if they're true or not. It got to the point where I didn't want to hear anymore. You know what I mean? I think I had it down from Larry, and that was enough.
It's interesting to sit in front of you and realize what you've done as an artist, a musician, what this motion picture means. You had worked in film before, certainly, but you had never been the lead in a film until Larry Flynt. And as I said, the day after the New York Film Festival screening, the buzz started. Courtney Love is brilliant. Courtney Love Academy Award nomination. This woman is so raw, she's so real. And Milos Forman could say to you with great affection, I don't like acting. The reason I wanted you to play this role is because I didn't want you to act it, I wanted you to be it. And one wonders whether we talk about someone like Barbra Streisand, who has said about herself, the reason I sing was because I couldn't get a job as an actress. And in terms of...
Did she say that?
At the beginning, yes.
Wow.
She was singing in clubs in New York because nobody would hire her as an actress. Then I think of the impact you have on the screen, and one has to go all the way back to something as powerful and shocking and provocative as Valerie Perrine in Lenny, playing a stripper in Vegas. And you know what? You made me think of that performance.
I saw that on Larry's plane recently.
And what did you think?
It's a very visceral. I mean, I think that there's something a lot. There's a lot to technique, which there's a certain amount I know from performing, and from challenging myself to give a really good performance or to make an effect on an audience. When I play live, or writing songs that lyrically sort of express or musically express a real kind of vulnerable or angry or passionate emotion. So there's that. I don't have the fine-tuning of a, really trained actor. But I think it's about just giving 100%. The performance you cited is a great performance.
And she received an Academy Award nomination for it.
That's right.
Was the early meetings between you and Woody Harrelson, he talks about you with affection and humor, were the early meetings as tempestuous as one begins to believe they were based on what Woody's saying, where you actually found each other and each other's character in your own meetings together the first times?
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been put to me like that, but yeah, I can see that. I can see in personas and in characters, on the level of purely acting and on the level of our personas that people perceive us as. I definitely saw some of myself in him and vice versa, I think.
When I talk about you and Woody Harrelson playing husband and wife, lovers, companions, certainly to Althea's death in Larry Flynt, we also realize the other extraordinary performance, among others, in this movie is seeing Edward Norton as Alan Isaacman, and your generosity toward his work when you talked about his ethics and his integrity, and you said that he transcends virtually everybody I have met in the entertainment business.
What is that from?
That was from the interview, the conversation between your pal Drew Barrymore and Edward Norton.
Yeah, I think he's a great actor, and he's a really nice guy. He's a really nice guy.
Have I made you uncomfortable? I
No,
didn't mean
no,
to.
not at all. I just wondered what that was from.
Oh, you just seemed so reflective suddenly, like.
What is that? What is that? Now, you know
No.
what? I just, I've heard this stuff. I don't want to go there, so.
Oh, no, no.
Okay.
But that's why I said I hope I wasn't, because I didn't mean to.
Okay.
No, when I bring up ethics and integrity, I don't stomp on them afterwards.
I think that I think Milos and Woody and Edward, I think that I was so fortunate to work with those three men, because I was around such support, and I learned so much from each of them on their different, things that they're good at about integrity, because Milos is a fighter. He just doesn't give up, and I love that about him. He's so brave. In this world, it's hard to be brave, and in the whole Hollywood world, it's hard to be brave sometimes.
I say to you with respect, I think you too are a fighter, and I think what you achieved on the screen is instinctive, intuitive, almost animalistic, raw in what you give us, and quite wonderful.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
See you in Canada.
Okay, yeah.
Bye.
Okay.
Courtney Love.